You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction. What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monte Sports Show. It is Monday, November 29th, 2021. I am your host, Monte Perez, aka The Sports Whisperer. You can follow me on social media on Twitter, MonteJP231, on TikTok, Monte Perez231, Facebook, Monte Perez, Instagram, Monte Perez2. I want to thank everyone who tuned in yesterday. We had 34 states watch the full Monte Sports Show, and right after the show on YouTube, we were trending number 3 for sports shows. We were trending number 3. So I want to thank all the fans who watch, all the fans who participate, all the fans who really, tell me during the week how much they look forward to the show. I really, really appreciate you guys. So thank you. Thank you very much. We have the best guests all across the country, and that does not exclude Monday night. So let's bring them on. They are probably very salty, and rightly so. Hey, Marie, Brad Ward, how are you guys?
Hey, Monty.
I'm all right.
One of the common themes right now, and, thank goodness the Packers have some depth, but Christian McCaffrey out, Dalvin Cook out, Deebo Samuel out, injuries, just devastating the team. We were going to start with Brad, but let's start with you, Marie. First, talk about the injury to Dalvin Cook. What does this mean moving forward? And then break down the game that happened yesterday.
Unfortunately, just with how the game was going, that was just like a punch in the gut. Well, the third quarter, then the game was over. But he tore his what you call it? He's dislocated his shoulder and he tore something in his chest, his pec. So it's not season ending, but it's not good. And that was just a rough game yesterday. Those Niners look like a whole different team this week. Remember last week when we were beating the Packers? Remember that? Can we go back to that week, Monty? Niners looked good yesterday. I thought it was a really good game until the third quarter. And I don't like
so
referees.
One of the things, my friend Andrea was texting me all day about the referees. They're just, I don't know if they're worse now or just because we have 36 cameras at every game, so
right.
We see every penalty, everything. But hey, Marie, I don't want to pick on Kirk Cousins. I don't want to pick on Baker Mayfield. But I got to say, at the end of a game, and this bothers me, I see this in college, I see this in pros. At the end of the game, he throws the ball 10 feet over Justin Jefferson's head. That's the last play of the game. It's either
insane.
An interception. You got to do something there where if it's not an interception, the ball's got to be in play. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I'm not to blame just Kirk. Tough week for the Vikes in general. The second half, we just lost momentum. Like when I liked the first half. The first half was fun.
But hey, Marie, I mean, you look at this team now without Dalvin Cook missing a couple weeks. They do have a good backup, right? So it's not like you're totally lost.
We can still win without Dalvin. And just the thing is, this was what will be hilarious. Is our game plan was this is when we lose, when we were not running the ball at all. And I know Justin Jefferson's having a hell of a year, and I know Dalvin went out, but still, he only had 10 carries. Like, that's crazy. You have to give the ball more to Dalvin or our running backs, our other running backs. It's insane.
Do they really? Is the Vikings, in your opinion, Amory, are the Vikings out at 5-6?
I don't. The thing is, we play the Lions and the Bears. Play the Bears twice, the Lions. We got the Steelers and Packers.
Okay.
I think the NFC. God, this week, I thought that was a must-win game for even us to get a wild card. But now I'm looking around the league and you look at the Rams. Every division's messy. So I don't know what's going to happen.
No, you're right. They're okay. It looks like maybe like the 6th seed in the NFC is like the 49ers right now at 6-5, so they're still in it, right?
We might get a wild card, I assume, but I
Yeah.
thought that was going to be. I thought the Niners are not like we're in the same kind of place yesterday, so I thought that was a must win, but we still
Yeah.
have a little hope.
Think about this too, like, with all the injuries that happened yesterday, Deebo Samuel is the first wide receiver to have 2 rushing TDs in a game in a Super Bowl era. He has more TDs than Christian McCaffrey rushing TDs, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones. I mean, the injuries that are happening to these running backs. For those of you who don't know, Christian McCaffrey's now out for the year.
His ankle,
they just announced it. I mean, I don't know where to go, because you want to say these undersized guys can't take the pounding, but then Derrick Henry went out too, and he's the biggest, fastest, strongest running back in the NFL. But it's just devastating. So you're saying he's not going to miss the year? Is this?
They
how
haven't
this guy's
announced.
afro right here. Look at this guy styling.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh, by the way, Andrew, I will agree with his comments. I work it to Brad next. Everyone is quick to judge Kirk Cousins, but Lamar Jackson, all these guys can have as many interceptions as they want. No one criticizes them. They're still God.
Again, I'm not picking on Kirk Cousins. Last play, you got to keep that ball in bounds.
It was insane.
Did you thought, oh my goodness, we have a chance, we're going to score here?
Yeah,
they did
I actually
drive
did.
At the end.
I didn't like how we went. We did go for 2. I don't know. There was some weird play calling, but yeah, I did. I think I had faith that we were gonna score.
The good news is, like you said, you still have to play Chicago. You have to play Detroit.
Lions.
You look at that schedule, and there's a path to 10 wins.
There's a path to 10 wins, and I think we could do it. I think Steelers, we've already beat the Packers, but no one wants to go to Lambeau in January.
No, that is true. That is true. All right, Brad, let's move on here. 13-10.
Yes, sir.
In a game that took offenses back 20 years. So, Brad, I'm just going to start with this. The defense played lights out. They played great. They gave up 13 points to a Ravens team that, usually plays well at home. I understand they were stacking the box, but did you think they abandoned the run too early?
Yeah, a little bit too much. So, what you're going to do against the Browns, I mean, the book is out, right? So, with Baker dinged up as he is, and in his condition, and the Browns really lacking, like, a really good wide receiver that can win in one-on-ones a lot of the time, their pass game is not where it needs to be, right? So, the Ravens did what you should do to the Browns, and they brought 5 up on every first down. If you notice, they had a 5-person bare front, ready to play the run, and they play the run well anyways. It's the Ravens, right? So, and they had guys flying around. Now, my problem is they stopped the run and they slowed it at times, but more than anything, Monty, it feels like they deterred the run more than they did stop it. Like, okay, so here's our 5-man front, and we stopped you a couple times. That can't be enough if you're the Browns. You still have to keep pounding it. And you noticed in the second half when they started to move the ball up and down the field a little bit, the Browns did, it was because on first down, they would run it even if they only got a yard or two, but then they could go play action off of that. And that's when they hit Landry for 40 and Bryant for 42. So that opened up the passing game. Like, the Browns' passing game is dependent on them being able to run the ball, or at least the threat of running. So when you stop running altogether, they have won that war. Because now you're...
There was a play, sorry to interrupt you. There was a play in the third quarter where they faked the handoff. Baker he hit Landry in stride over the middle about 20. It was such a beautiful play, but it was set up by the play action. And now people are killing Stefanski now, and it's like, hey, the guy was coach of the year last year. But it's almost like the Ravens were saying, you're not going to run because of our defense. We know it, and the Browns fed into their game plan. Look, we know that in the first, second, and third quarter, sometimes the Titans, sometimes the Colts, their running game is non-existent. But you keep trying because you know Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, are going to get wear these people down. They abandoned
Sure.
it way too soon.
Sure, I totally agree, and they tried to get back to it at times, but at some point, they had to try to score quickly, in the fourth quarter or whatever. I do think they abandoned it, but like I said, I don't think the Ravens did a good job, and Stefanski, where they're at fault, and Van Pelt and those guys on offenses, they just did a better job deterring them from running than actually stopping them from running. And they were kind of like, well, 5-man front, it looks like they're going to stop us every time, so we're going to throw it all over the field. And that's just not the answer if you're the Browns. And it's not, Baker Mayfield just can't do it right now. Like, you saw him make, like, that play you're talking about to Jarvis Landry.
Beautiful throw.
What a throw.
That's why I was like, okay.
He led the guy, like,
yeah.
it was beautiful, like, right around the guy. But, I mean, his total numbers, if you go to it, he was 18 to 37. And that's not all on him. That's a lot of times he threw strikes, but there's just Ravens all over the wide receivers. Like, they cannot win. In Collinsworth was talking about it a lot, right? Like, they just can't win in one-on-one. Like, Jarvis Landry isn't going to beat you down the field in one-on-one. Yeah, he can win in short areas, but, like, they're missing that threat. Donovan Peoples-Jones was guarded by Marlon Humphrey, who gets away with holding everyone down the field, but he does it, and he's an amazing player. And basically, I was pissed because they kept throwing at Marlon Humphrey. I mean, he broke up every pass they threw at him. The Ravens secondary has not been good this year, but they played better last night. Basically, the Browns' pass game is anemic at this point, and they really struggle. They can hit chunk plays, but they're not going to beat you on a consistent basis. They scored on the Njoku play, which may or may not have hit the ground. Either way, it was a good play. They got back in the game. It was so frustrating. Let me hit a couple of my points here. It was a slugfest, right? I mean, it was an absolute slugfest. Guys, blood all over their jerseys. I mean, it was just a beating. The Browns' defense played spectacular. How do you lose the game when you get 4 interceptions is unbelievable. The touchdown they did score required Lamar Jackson to throw 2 fadeaway prayers off his back foot into the end zone, which is so frustrating because it's like your defense is getting so much pressure and he just finds a way to heave it. That gets them down into the red zone on that play, right? And then they score the touchdown on another heave, and I don't know where the defense was on that play, but I guess, it's going to happen, I guess, sometimes. But remarkable that they were able to score on those plays and that they were able to get out of this win with 13 points. 3 really good young defensive players showcased in this game. Tyus Bowser is amazing for the Ravens. Adafe Owe is an absolute beast for the Ravens. And I thought Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was incredible for the Browns. The guy is amazing all over the place. In my opinion, embarrassing moments for the Browns, just real quick. Too cute, right? Jarvis at quarterback while you're driving, right? And he gets run down by Owe and fumbles. I mean, that was so critical. They were going into Ravens territory, moving the ball, and he tries to go back to, the Wildcat with Jarvis to throw it again. Just getting too cute, right? Just turn around and hand it. Why so much? Like, the time they were successful running the ball in the first half, Monty, was with Kareem Hunt. And then he disappeared for half the game. Yeah. I don't know where he went. I know he's easing back into it, but where the hell was Kareem Hunt half the game? So he comes back in the fourth quarter and he's running like a demon again. Like, I don't know why. Like, yes, Chubb is excellent, but sometimes you need a change of pace guy, and Kareem was that in the first half. They ran him 3 times in a row. He got a first down, and then we didn't see him again until like the fourth quarter. Like, I didn't understand that at all. Where's Kareem Hunt? Lamar the 2 throw-up plays to Mark Andrews were embarrassing because where's your back-end defense on that? Although it's hard to criticize the Browns' defense in this game.
That was just one play where Mark Andrews was wide open in the end zone, and I don't know if people thought he was going to run, so they came up, but he had 5 yards on either side of him in the end zone.
He just threw it up. I mean, he didn't even throw it to Mark Andrews. He just threw it up. He got hit on his arm by Myles Garrett. It just happened to go in the middle end zone where Mark Andrews got to it first. Your defenders are looking around trying to find players, and they don't see the ball. That's what happens sometimes. It's the most unbelievable, frustrating play of the game. Baker Mayfield. They go an all-out blitz. He backs up. They have a screen set up to Kareem Hunt. It is wide open, a walk-in touchdown. And he pump fakes it and then fumbles the ball out of his hand. Unfreaking believable. I never thought I would take for granted the ability to throw a freaking screen pass in the NFL. But, I mean, come on. Like, what was he pump faking at? I don't even understand. Just throw the ball to Kareem Hunt. He would have walked in the end zone. You saw it. I mean, they had nobody back there. That was embarrassing. And the other embarrassing thing was the 12 men on the field. You complain about the substitution,
after they stopped
timeout, and then you still got freaking 12 after the timeout. That's so fucking unexcusable. Sorry. I'm like, I can't. I mean,
I understand.
it was a frustrating game. It was very frustrating. It was a very frustrating game.
We're allowed. You're loud.
Yeah. So, as you saw with the Hunt play and the 4 interceptions and the effort you got from that defense, there's no way you should have lost that game. It's very disappointing. I mean, they have to go on a bye week now, try to get healthy, and they play them again, right?
That's so crazy.
You play them again at home, 1 o'clock, after they have to go to Pittsburgh. There is no excuse you should win this game. You just showed that you might be a better team than them, right? Like, a head up. At their place, Sunday Night Football, with you making the ability to have adjustments, them having to go play, you get healthy, your quarterback should get a week to get healthy, you should win this game. It's an indictment on your coaching staff if they do not win this game.
So, Brad, if Baker's banged up, isn't it better to go with your backup and get him healthy?
Well, you get a bye week now, so,
right.
I mean, if we're talking, Monday morning quarterback going back weeks, yes, I've been saying to sit him down for weeks.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That's all I wanted to know. So you have a bye week now. What's the mindset? Is it listen? Anytime you're going to play the Ravens and you lose by 3, you could say, okay, it's
like
a hard
all
game,
their games,
but you cannot get swept, right? You cannot get swept.
No, you have to split here, and then you have to find a way to win. You have to get to 10 wins to even have a chance. I don't think that might not even be enough, Monte, because they lose enough tiebreakers with the AFC. But that at least gives you a shot to get in. So that's what you got to play for, right?
Okay, so now who's taking the blame here? Is it Stefanski? Is it Baker? What's the mindset in Cleveland after this loss?
I mean, I partially blame Stefanski for some of the decision-making leading up to this game and how this season has been handled as a whole. But I can't really – I like Stefanski. I don't want him to go anywhere. It's an overreaction to be like, oh, fire him. People in Cleveland are so, like, overreaction on everything, right? It's freaking insane. I guess it's just people in general that watch the NFL, right? Not in Cleveland. But it's just overreaction on everything. Is even as good as the defense has played, I don't know if Joe Woods sees next season, to be honest.
Wow,
I just have not been a fan of what he has done defensively. They have so many good defensive players. As you saw last night, it was on Showcase, right? They have studs all over the field. If you look at how they played last night and maybe like the Bears game and some other games, right? Like, it's inexcusable some of the point totals they've given up in certain games.
All right, so are you still confident they could get to those 10 wins?
I'm not confident. I think there's a path to it.
Right.
Really, I think priority 1 in the offseason, I don't think they're going to get rid of Baker Mayfield. I think that the front office is going to chalk this up to an injury and put off the extension and let him get healthy and try again next year. I honestly think that's what they'll do, although people in this town want them to go get a quarterback. I think that they will kick the can down the road with Mayfield on the extension and try to get him healthy and watch him next year. Maybe you bring in somebody to push him. Like, what about, like, Mitchie Trubisky? What if you brought him in to push him?
Well, I'm never.
I love that face. That was a great face, Monte.
I'm just never a believer of someone should be pushed. Like everyone said that about
Aaron
Rodgers.
You don't think that?
No.
Great competition.
Tom Brady doesn't need competition. Drew Brees, they're so obsessed with winning, they don't need competition.
Right, but Case Keenum, clearly, like in this. Okay, here's what I trust. I trust that Stefanski would watch his practice and put the guy out on the field that gives them the best chance to win. I trust that.
Okay,
So
and that's
if
fair.
he's sitting
That's
in
fair.
practice watching Baker Mayfield, as hurt as he is and as bad as he's been over the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and watching Case Keenum and saying he still gives us a better chance to win, then we need a better fucking backup.
Okay, fair enough. And that's 2 F-bombs, Brad. Love the
Oh,
passion.
I'm
Brad,
sorry.
got
I
a text.
apologize.
I keep my phone. Got a text message. Someone says, "Hey, can People Jones be a legitimate number 2 wide receiver?"
Yeah, he can be a number 2. I don't think he can be a 1.
Right. So
I
you're
think that
confident.
I was going to say in the draft they need to address wide receiver. They need to
Right.
go get another stud out there with no mention of
See, obviously,
Bears
the
fan.
Chicago Bears fan is coming out.
Trubisky's he's a Cleveland guy. Sorry, we're biased around here.
And you know what? He's a decent backup. But I don't know if he. Again, if
I'm just
Baker's-
thinking of a guy that could get in a different situation, right? Give him a different situation. Give him a chance where Nagy's not his head coach, and maybe Trubisky could be like a Tannehill, right? Like thrive in the with a nice run game and a nice defense around him. Can he make the play action throws? Can he be more accurate and more effective than Baker? Probably not. But it would provide some legitimate push. And you're right, you shouldn't need to push. But the truth of it is, Baker he's not cutting it right now.
Right,
like
right.
if somebody shuts down the run game, you can't go, okay, Baker, go win us the game. And he should be able to go do that if he's your franchise quarterback.
Okay. Marie, Bill from Minnesota. Is this the most talented offense Minnesota has ever had under Cousins?
Yes, I'll say yes because Kirk's only been there 3 years.
Right. So this is the best team he's had, right? Offensively?
Out of Minnesota and Washington.
Yeah.
Is that what he said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So you agree with that? Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna do this now. We're gonna go to the Green Bay Packers, and I'm gonna say this, guy. Let me just say this: they won 36-28.
Yeah.
The Packers are now 9-3. Okay.
Dominant.
This is the best Green Bay. Look at Avery yawning. This is the best Green Bay Packer team
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has ever had. They are
Yeah.
2-3 deep in each position. They played 4 games without their best pass rusher. Their best defensive back is not there. A.J. Dillon is a beast. Okay, everyone else, they lost their a potential Pro Bowl tight end in Tonyan. These guys aren't missing a beat. Special teams, defense, offense. They can beat you 10-3. They can beat you 35-31. The only problem that I have with this damn team is this guy, is their kicker. And I don't understand it. Okay, I understand he's been there forever. He's like 75 years old. He's missed 9 field goals on the year. 9. What are we doing with this guy? I know he's Aaron Rodgers' good friend.
Are you really complaining about this?
Yes, because in a close game, this is going to come back to haunt you. And
I know.
We would know. I would know.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, Brad,
Can I
field
say
goals.
I agree with you. They should fire him and they should get another kicker. There's kickers out on the street right now that could probably come in and do a much better job than him. He's been there forever, right?
Yes.
Forever. And him and Aaron Rodgers are like this.
It's time to ixnay on him because you're going to need a kicker in the playoffs. I will say this, Monte.
When he loses another NFC championship,
Yeah, I watched this game. I think the Packers are the best team in the NFL right now, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they are really good in every way. And one of the things I love is, I don't know if, because you know how like when you're leaving a job, it's your last couple of weeks, you're so happy, nothing bothers you, nothing bothers Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he's leaving, but he is smiling, he's joking around, everything. Matt LaFleur, whatever you want to say about this guy, 13-3, and they are physically tough on both sides of the ball. I couldn't be happier as a Packer fan right now.
Yeah, these teams, these coaches know each other really well. So I thought this game would be really intriguing to watch. And it was. It didn't let down. I will say this, though, that Stafford is off. He's not playing.
Is he hurt? There's something not right with their offense.
It's like he has the yips or something.
It's the OBJ factor. He comes there and you can't throw, and all of a sudden you can't throw accurately anymore.
By the way,
I don't know what it is, but he did he's off. He's missing open receivers. He looks Baker Mayfield-ish. He does.
By the way, did you see this? OBJ
What is
wanted
this?
to exchange jerseys with Devontae Adams. Remember Devontae Adams a few weeks ago came out and said that Stacy, the former Jet player who beat up his baby's mama, he's like, he should be thrown under the jail. He said, OBJ came up to me and said, hey, man, let's exchange jerseys. And he said, go get Cooper Kupp's jersey. You wanted to play with him. Talk about Devontae Adams has zero.
Good for him.
The weather is way better in LA anyway. So.
Good for him.
But I like that. You like those rivalries, those saltiness. Like it's hard nowadays because everyone has the same agent. In the off season, you work out together, you become best
Everybody's
friends.
buddies.
Yeah, but Devontae Adams has zero F's to give right now. He's like, screw you.
That's
OBJ.
great.
Yeah,
they could have really used him in Green Bay too. I mean, he's hurt. OBJ, you got to give him credit. He was playing through freaking back injury yesterday. Caught a touchdown. He looked really hurt out there. They were putting that heater on his back, and he still was able to win and get that touchdown. He hasn't been great for them. He hasn't helped. They missed Robert Woods. Robert Woods was better.
Woods. Yeah. Okay, Brad.
And the running game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some other games throughout the NFL in Week 12 with Brad Ward here in Amory. Raiders beat the Cowboys. Hunter Renfrow, 8 receptions. What's going on with the Cowboys? Is this as predictable as we all thought? They start off hot, and then now they're just in trouble.
Well, now they have COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the contest of the two teams that I said that I didn't really believe in, right? So this is like the teams, the MO that I thought would fade off. First of all, you mentioned Hunter Renfrow is incredible. I mean, what a pain in the ass to try to cover that guy, right? I mean, he is freaking so crafty and shifty. Healthy. I think the healthy Cowboys win this game with all their weapons at wide receiver. They miss those guys, I think. But really, where the problem lies here. Well, a couple stats here. First, I'm gonna get to that. But Dak made some great throws. However, interesting stat here: 6 of 13 on passes traveling more than 10 yards per PFF. Cowboys secondary really had a bad day.
Yes, they did.
So Brown with 4 PIs. In the secondary, and even worse, Jordan Lewis, 160 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets. So they got torched by the Raiders.
And now they're saying Mike McCarthy has COVID. Up to 8 Dallas players might have COVID. So, who knows? And they have a short week because they play Thursday, although they play New Orleans team. I mean, it just goes to show you how much a franchise quarterback really matters. Maybe not always on the field.
Well, they don't have any weapons right now.
Right, but even Drew Brees without weapons made something out of nothing, right? He made chicken he made chicken soup out of chicken you-know-what. I mean, even when Drew Brees wasn't playing, his quarterbacks played well, the backups. He was right there coaching them. It's amazing.
A good coach, franchise quarterback will always keep you in it in the NFL.
Exactly. Yeah, typical Cowboys just start off great and then break your heart. Okay, Marie, Jekyll and Hyde team, the Bills.
The Bills are back. The Bills are back. 31-6 on Turkey Day. Now, this is the Bills team. I know they're playing the Saints. I still like the Saints defense. But yeah, this is Josh Allen's back. I don't know if he needed turkey. I don't know what he needed, but he's back. This is because I feel like it's been a weird couple weeks for the Bills.
Saints are garbage.
Listen, I am not.
Saints are garbage.
I think I'll say it again. I think New England wins the division. I think Kansas City right now could be the best team in the AFC. I think they're back. Coming, they had a bye.
Yeah. Oh no, that division in general, and your Jetsies won.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Zach Wilson's back.
Zach Wilson has never been here. He's first of all, we'll get.
He didn't play awful.
He didn't play awful, but this is just in the modern NFL. The Jets' number 1 wide receiver for Sunday had 45 receiving yards. 45 receiving yards. Okay, we'll get to the Jets in a minute. I just want to talk about the Bears-Lions here. A lot of people are saying, Andy Dalton threw for 300 yards. you gotta start him now and let Justin Fields sit. Why? Why are you going to start Andy Dalton?
God.
Why
Everyone
would you start him?
be quiet.
Matt Nagy, he played well. He put us in you played the Lions, a team that hasn't even won a game, a team that shoots themselves in the foot. Talk about, snatching victory away, snatching defeat away from victory, whatever the hell phrase I'm looking for. The Lions just self-destruct every game. And don't tell me that Matt Nagy is considering Andy Dalton because he threw for 300 yards. That's insane.
Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
That's exactly what I was looking for, Brad. And that's why you're on the show, because you make me better. So I appreciate that.
The Bears and the Lions are both dog crap. And the Bears are stupid if they even think about playing Dalton. You're 4-7. This is when you put your young quarterback in and let him take his lumps.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter if you win or lose. You let him take his lumps right now.
Okay, Brad, in probably the craziest game of the week, the Bucs and the Colts. I don't know what happened to the Colts. It seems like they
I'll tell you what happened.
I'll
tell you. I have to watch every play. Why aren't you running Jonathan Taylor?
I thought the Colts outplayed the Bucs in this game.
They should have won the game.
Yes, they did. This
is a case of, every week we see teams, and I've seen it so much in Cleveland that I can see it elsewhere. With teams find a way to lose games, and if you are a good NFL coach, you will just not let your team lose the game sometimes, and that's good enough to win it. And this is one of those cases, I think. Fournette was amazing. First of all. We've all known he's an incredible back and athlete, but he still has it. Go ahead.
Can I just say, if Leonard Fournette, when was the last time Tom Brady had a dominant running back? Leonard Fournette last year was kind of iffy, he came on.
Yeah.
But if Leonard Fournette can rush for 120 to 150 yards and Rob Gronkowski is healthy, this is a nightmare scenario for everyone who lives outside of Tampa because they could get back to the Super Bowl. Leonard Fournette was a beast yesterday.
Yeah, and he was a beast in the playoffs last year, if you recall. So he was amazing yesterday. This reminds me of a point I wanted to make earlier, real quickly. The Bills. It's about time they start playing Matt Breida at running back.
Good
by
point.
the way.
Very good point.
Okay. He should be their starting running back. Anyways, back to this game. Fournette was amazing. The Colts were the better team. They dominated this game for the first part. It all changed really with the Barrett strip sack on Wentz. That changed the game. They were going in to score. But from there on, the Colts blunders. Wentz throws a pick, and then the muffed punt, brutal, gave this game away.
Hines,
they've done this a couple times this year, the Colts have. They did this against the Ravens. Amory, you probably know. I think they did it against somebody else, too, where they have dominated the game, looked like the better team, found a way to lose.
Carson Wentz should not be throwing the ball that much either. Oh my God.
Hey, I can't blame Wentz though. I mean, he looks better than he has. He looks much better.
Frank Wright. No, I'm not blaming Wentz. I'm saying if you've been watching the Hard Knocks series on HBO Max, it's really good. But Frank Wright just feel like he abandoned the game plan, and they were doing so well.
They were winning. They were dominating. Yeah.
And again, I think Frank Reich is a good coach, but it's almost like he gets happy with the running game. It's working, and he's like, we have to mix it up just for the sake of mixing it up. But if something's working, this is what Tom Brady. I remember a few years ago in New England against the Ravens in the second half. The Patriots didn't run the ball once. They threw the ball every down except on 3rd and 1 at the 1. Tom Brady ran it in. If something is working, Amory, and you watch this games with your boyfriend, keep running. Wear them down. The Titans don't deviate from their game plan. Why does Frank Reich?
He does it. I don't know why. And then if you saw the last touchdown by the Colts, Jonathan Taylor had as many carries as he did the whole game in that drive.
Yeah. No, it's and again, if Leonard Fournette is running and Rob Gronk, I don't know. Someone explain this to me. Rob Gronkowski is the slowest tight end in the NFL,
Well,
and he's
Kyle Rudolph is up
every
there.
time.
You don't have to be fast to be effective
I
as
know,
a tight
but
end.
he's open every time.
Yeah,
Cal
he's
Rudolph,
got a-
Cal Rudolph
team
is
him.
the same way. Was the same way.
Zone defense in the NFL, you just find the open area and be
For
big.
blocking. Yeah.
So
Hey,
frustrating.
yeah, it is frustrating. The Colts, let's be serious about the Colts, though. They should be, they're like the Browns. They are so talented. They should not be 6-6.
I should turn this
They
up
have-
so Cal can hear.
Wentz has played good enough to be, winning their division. They have an incredible running back. They have an incredible running back room. Hines is great too. I like Naheem Hines. Their wide receiver room, Pittman is a legit one. I love this
Pittman's a
guy.
stud, yep.
He is an absolute stud. Their defense is immaculately talented. They have great talent all over, led by Darius Leonard. And their defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, is not going to be there long because he's going to get a head coaching job. He's a genius. And so this is the year that they should have been excelling. It sucks.
I agree.
Amory, one of the teams that you're rooting against now is the Falcons. They beat the Jags yesterday in an ugly game. Matt Ryan is 4-0 against the Jags. But what gets me so frustrated is, there are certain coaches that come over. For example, Cliff Kingsbury struggled his first year as a coach, but he brought his offensive mindset to the NFL, and he did well. Urban Meyer's supposed to be an offensive genius. They're averaging 15 points a game. They haven't scored more than 17, I think, in 5 out of their last 6. And now you're giving the Falcons life, and they're right back in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
Urban Meyer's not an offensive genius, though.
That's the reputation.
I don't even think it is, though. If you really look at it, he brought concepts in, like the spread and everything, but everybody was doing that at that point, right? He just was able in college to recruit really well.
Best players, yeah.
And he's a culture guy.
And a lot of criminals, too. He recruited a lot of criminals.
But he's a culture guy. He got everybody to buy in. He was very good at that sort of thing with college kids. I don't know how well it's working in the NFL.
So Atlanta's now getting some momentum. Marie, just to go back to Minnesota right here. Someone said, what is the ceiling for this team now without Cook over the next few weeks? My friend Steve just texted me. He says, win or lose in the playoffs, are you coming back with your coaching staff?
I want Zimmer gone.
Okay. So no
I don't
matter
think it's
what,
gonna happen
you want him
anymore.
I
gone.
don't think it's gonna happen either. But I'm not. I'm just. It's time for some change. Thanks Zim for what you've done. Time for some change.
Okay.
Hey, isn't Kubiak's kid the OC?
Yes, because that's what we do. We just pass down jobs to our kids.
Yeah. No,
Our defensive coordinator too, Andre Patterson. Everyone's involved. It's a family affair.
So what's the problem here? If you could get rid of one side of the ball, who would you get rid of? You can't get rid of the offense, right? That's who they are. They're so ingrained.
No. I just think Zim is he's a defensive-minded coach. I just don't agree with him anymore, and I think there's bad taste in that. He's had the teams to do stuff, and we always just settle for mediocrity. I don't know what it is, and we can't keep coaches either. We've lost an offensive coordinator every year.
Yeah, no, which shows you how well Kirk Cousins has been playing because he's going with a new offensive coordinator. That's not easy. That's not easy to do.
No.
All right, let's move to the Titans and the best team in the AFC that's not in Kansas City, and that's New England. Listen, everyone talks about the Patriots like, oh, they can't score. They can't score.
Oh, they can.
They're scoring 28 points a game, which is 7th in the NFL. And listen to how dominant they've been over the last 3 games. They're outscoring teams 135-33. They're not just winning. They're kicking the crap out of teams. They are destroying teams. And I got to be honest with you. This defense is, I don't know anyone outside of New England, if you're not a diehard football fan, who can name 3 or 4 defenders, but everything's clicking. Mac Jones is playing with a swag that he had in Alabama, and you keep telling me fans, that they don't have any skill players. They've outscored again, I'm going to repeat it, 135-33, and I think this team wins the AFC East.
Well, and now on the radio every morning, people are predicting a Bucks-Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, God. please, please, please. I mean,
We don't need that in this world.
that would be, first of all, I wonder, because Tom Brady's a god in New England. I wonder if they would turn on Tom Brady for that, because they all
I
gave
don't
him a
know.
standing ovation, but they don't boo him. You can't. The guy won 6 Super Bowls there.
Right.
But yeah, no, they look so good. It's unbelievable.
It's frustrating. It really is. J.C. Jackson is an incredible defender. I mean, he should be up for defensive player of the year. But he's been incredible. He caused a fumble, got another interception. I mean, that guy's unfreaking believable. I'm not I'm not as sold on this as everybody else. Like, they are peaking at the right time, but I'm not as sold that if they go up against a really good defense, that they are going to have the talent on the outside for Mac Jones to win.
No, I agree with that. They are definitely lacking an elite skill position player, but again, they're dominating. Speaking of dominant, I said this a few weeks ago. One of the very first articles I wrote was 4 years ago, and I said the Pittsburgh Steelers will not return to a Super Bowl for a decade, and people were killing me. And I just said, you look at this division now, when the Browns drafted Baker with Lamar Jackson, I'm like, there's just something not right about the Steelers and Big Ben. And Mike Tomlin, God bless him, never had a losing year. But Brad, 41-10, this game was over in the first quarter.
It was glorious.
You were rooting for the Bengals, huh?
Yeah, definitely, because the Browns beat the Bengals. So, basically, Browns fans need to root for the only teams they beat in the AFC, which is like the Broncos, who won yesterday, and the Bengals, right? So, because they have a chance to sweep the Bengals still. So, yeah, Steelers lost big to the Bengals. The Bengals, first of all, Steelers got Minka Fitzpatrick back and got T.J. Watt back and got destroyed. All I was hearing about is, they're getting Minka back. They're getting T.J. Watt back. Didn't make a difference. You got shit on. And then, so then the Bengals really did just freaking do whatever they wanted against them. Joe Burrow was amazing. Joe Mixon is a hugely underrated running back in this league.
I think he has amazing. 8 straight games with a touchdown.
He is truly a very talented. When he can stay healthy, he is amazing. And then what an amazing story, really cool. Mike Hilton, former longtime Steeler, switched teams this year to the Bengals, gets a pick 6, and it's the first pick 6 of his life. Never had one, not even back to Pee Wee football.
Wow,
and got one against his old team on Sunday.
That's amazing. Listen, Big Ben's done. I said it last year. He's a shot fighter. I don't know what they're going to do. No, he's done. Okay, hey, Marie, listen, everyone wants to talk about, how the Dolphins they've won 4 in a row. Tua.
Oh, boy.
Think about this, right? Tua completed 87% of his passes yesterday.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
that is
stats
a
right
Dolphin
now.
record with 30-plus pass attempts. They've won 4 in a row. Think of Dan Marino never did that. Tua's playing great.
Right. Oh, no, he is. They managed the game. I mean, at first when Cam opened up with that 64-yarder to Moore, I thought that was awesome. But turnovers, penalties, the Panthers just looked like trash. Sad about Christian McCaffrey, but, I mean, yeah, Dolphins. Okay,
He got
AFC.
He got benched, didn't he?
Yeah,
He can't
he
get
got
benched.
benched.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they took him out.
yeah,
And
yeah.
listen, Matt Rule's an offensive guy, but his offensive scheme and game plan is just you want to protect Christian McCaffrey. I get it, but 2 weeks ago, Christian McCaffrey had 10 touches. You talk about Dalvin Cook, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Well, the reason why is because he can't stay healthy. I mean,
Which
come on, guys.
proved to be-
Can we have a real conversation about Christian McCaffrey? He cannot stay on the field
never drafting him
legitimately
in
for
fantasy.
even
Got me
a
4 fantasy
freaking
points.
week. If you're in charge of the Panthers, Monte, Emery, what do you do with your backfield? I would move on to Hubbard. I think he's fantastic.
Hubbard's great, but again, he's a little undersized too. We're going down that road. You look at the A.J. Dillons of the world, the Jonathan Taylors, the Derrick Henry. I know everyone wants those, quick backs who could catch the ball out of the backfield, but A.J. Dillon, I'm watching him, he's catching balls. Jonathan Taylor can catch balls. Just because you're big doesn't mean you can't be a good wide receiver.
Totally agree. But, I mean, they can no longer base their offense around Christian McCaffrey. You have to make a fundamental change in your offense this offseason. He cannot be depended on. You just can't do it. If he's out like this much, they rely on him so much in that offense. When he's gone, it's completely different.
No, it's a shame because I think Matt Rule's going to be under the hot seat pretty soon, and I liked him coming out of college. All right.
Hey, can I make one statement real quick?
Sure.
On all these coaches that are, and I'm sure we're going to get to it here soon with Joe Judge and whatnot, but all these coaches, except for the exception of maybe one, that are new coaches, everybody calling for their heads after 1 year is absurd. You have to give a guy 2 years.
Let him build.
Okay.
You have to give a coach 2 years.
Brad,
mandatory.
I get what you're saying. I have not liked Joe,
Right.
and I think they should fire him after this year. But the Arizona Cardinals fired their head coach and got rid of their quarterback in Josh Rosen to get Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, and it was the right move to make.
It's a different situation. That's a one-off situation, though,
But you
Monte.
can't just
That's a one-off situation.
Right. It's an outlier, but you can't just say you have to give a coach 2 years. You can't say that. In certain situations,
No, you can't.
You can fire.
You can fire him if there is egregious whatever. This guy is clearly not the guy. Freddie Kitchens, buffoon,
Right.
idiot, screwed up on every level possible, not head coach material. There's the door, right? I get it. But if the guy is competent enough, I mean, even if you lose every game, if he is competent and you can see that within the building, you have to give him 2 years. You can't judge him by his win-loss in a scoreboard.
I'm in agreement with you. But with that said, we'll talk about the Jets now. I don't like the Jets head coach just because up until last week, they had a 5-week stretch where they gave up the most points in the history of the franchise, 199. They played well. They
But
played
who's on
competitive.
D? They don't have any. They don't have any players, Monty.
Again, but the Jets have been bad for so long. To set a record like that is really, really bad. But the Jets won yesterday, so let's be positive. They won 21-14. I don't know what happened to Houston because they have a lot of veterans. You figured they would play for pride.
Yeah, and I like Tyrod.
Yeah, and Tyrod Taylor's he's a very, very competent quarterback. There was a couple games that really shocked me. This was one of them. But hats off to the Jets. They have not quit. There's a lot of young players who I'm sure they want to go out winning. So let's see if they could carry some momentum, and let's see if they can win next week. And, Brad and I say this all the time. It's not about, getting a number 4 pick or a number 2 pick. Set a winning culture. So the Jets, if you're the Jets and you're the coaching staff, play your young guys, set a winning culture. Don't quit. They obviously could have quit going into that game, and they didn't. So I do got to give Robert Saleh some credit for having his team ready to play.
Yeah.
Okay, Brad, I'm going to lose my mind here because I did something so stupid yesterday.
Okay.
So, and I never do this. I'm in a bunch of fantasy football leagues. I picked up Jalen Hurts, and I started him in all my fantasy leagues. I took Jalen Hurts in my Draft King, and the reason why I did it is over the last 4 games, they've been scoring 33 points per game. He's been averaging over 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes. And yesterday they sucked, but I never want to say an NFL player suck because they are the elite athletes of the world. They made it to the NFL, but I don't know what the hell Jalen Reagor is doing at the end of this game. He dropped 2 passes that were right in his hands, and how are you collecting a paycheck?
Egregious drops, just awful at the end of this game. Hurts he's been a fantasy monster. You were not wrong to play him. I played him in a couple DraftKings lineups because I thought they were going to run roughshod all over this Giants team, especially in the run game, and I thought he was going to have a huge day. The Giants showed up. Freddie Kitchens was calling plays for the Giants yesterday.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Once you get that, just goes to show you. Once you get in,
you're never getting out.
You're never getting out. Same with the NBA. Once you get an NBA job or an NFL job, you will have a job for the rest of your life somewhere. And get second, third, fourth, fifth shots. There's only so many qualified people.
But one of the reasons why coaches do that is because The NFL, for all their negatives, they have the best pension plan in the world. If you coach 7 or to 10 years, you get $70,000 for life. So that's why you see head coaches go be offensive coordinators or be offensive line coach like what's his name used to do for the Oakland Raiders. Like you're a former head coach, now you're an offensive line coach. What do you want that pension? You want that pension to build up because you get that for life. But going back to this game, 13-7, Brad, I started Jalen Hurts in 7 fantasy things.
Dear God.
I went all in and I struck out.
Yeah, great run game. Their run game was still very effective. But once again, it's very similar to the Browns. That their pass game just cannot sustain them once the run is stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're absolutely right. Jalen Reagor has been a huge disappointment. Huge disappointment.
He had a touchdown in the end zone.
Egregious drops.
He had a touchdown right in the end zone. It went right through. Oh, God.
Unbelievable.
Okay, Amory, another disgusting game for me.
Joe Judge, though. You don't think Joe Judge should be back for the Giants?
I would say Joe Judge should be back, but there's no way Daniel Jones should be back.
Oh, that's crazy. Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes is going to be good.
Are you going to talk about Justin Herbert and the Chargers?
Well, you are right now because I'm disgusted because they lost 28-13. Patrick Surtain.
And what is this Broncos team? Like, what? I don't like every Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know what's going on this week-to-week league. I'm like, what the heck? But
the West
Monte,
and the North.
9 penalties. These penalties are crazy. 75 yards worth of penalties. I mean, turnovers. This game was gross.
It goes back to what I said all the time. Well-coached teams in college, well-coached teams in the NFL, they don't get penalties. The Chargers are the most penalized team. And it always seems like when they have a 40-yard play, it's always the same bull crap. It's an illegal formation, an illegal shift. It's not even like a hold. It's just,
weird.
It's just weird. And God bless Patrick Surtain, first rookie with 2 interceptions in a game since Steve Atwater in 1989. So, but this Bronco team, Marie, are you going to tell me that the Broncos with Teddy Two Gloves are going to make the playoffs?
I don't know.
No.
They are a weird team every week. I don't think they will in their division, but
are they better than the Raiders?
No.
Okay. Well, they're better than my Chargers. That's for sure.
They aren't, though. They really aren't, though.
That's what's so weird is about this
I
this
don't
Charger
think
team.
that they're better than the Chargers. I don't think they're better than they beat somebody else a couple weeks ago that they had no business beating. I forget who it was, but the Denver is just they're weird, right? Like they play good defense sometimes, and they've pulled out some wins that they shouldn't have. But the AFC West and the AFC North is like this, right? Teams are beating other teams that shouldn't be beating, each other
it's a
all the time.
Week-to-week league.
And they're all messed up.
Unless you're the Packers.
Oh, the Broncos beat the Cowboys 30-16. 30-16 over the Cowboys?
The Packers last week.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
All right. So, Marie, let's break this down now. Obviously, Brad, give us about a minute with the Browns. They have a bye week. What do you want to see coming out when they play the Baltimore Ravens in 2 weeks?
I want to see simple. Okay, so first of all, you got to get Baker Mayfield healthy. This is the week to do it. You do that. For some reason, yesterday, okay, Rashard Higgins, one of my personal favorite Browns, has always found a way to get open. Baker Mayfield and him have a long time connection. Was a healthy scratch. And that makes no sense to me.
I saw that on DraftKings. He wasn't playing.
He's a healthy scratch, and they played Jamarcus Bradley, a practice squad player, instead. He probably did. This has happened with him. It's been kind of a thing with him where he gets in the doghouse with coaching staffs, and then when he gets on the field, he performs really well. So you have to play him, right? I don't know what's happening off the field with him. It's not like he's in trouble with the law or anything, but maybe he just doesn't practice well or whatever.
Late for practice, maybe something.
I don't know what it is, but healthy scratch in this game is mind-boggling. You needed a player that could get open and that Baker could go to, and this is the guy, right? and it made no sense not to play him. So I would like to see him be on the field and implemented in the offense. This is a guy that caught like 700 yards for you last year in like 7 weeks. Like he was on fire down the stretch. Nobody could guard him. Get him on the field. Donovan Peoples-Jones should be more incorporated in the offense than he is. You know, you have to go into this next game with a better plan to stick to the run. Maybe, I mean, the Browns are very good with their offensive line at being multiple in the run. So wide zone, gap scheme, wide zone, like let's be multiple against them and make them adjust. Dictate to the Ravens and not let them just show a bare front, and that's all they have to do to deter you from running the football. But ultimately, on a level that none of us will understand, they have to schematically get in the film room, find the spots where they can take advantage, right? And this is the advantage you have. You have this week where you can continue to prepare for the same team, a team that's really hard to prepare for in 1 week because they're different than anybody else in the NFL. So you go get in the film room, you find the weak spots, the weaknesses, the wrinkles that you can make that you identify on tape. You should be scouring the film. Plus, on a bye week, it's self-scout yourself, right? That's what you do on a bye week in the NFL. You scout yourself. So this just gives the Browns a chance to identify, tendencies that they have that they're not aware of and things like that. So then you can go into this game next week and why they should win the following week and go against those tendencies. So anything that the Ravens have on film, you've now identified and you can use that to your advantage. This is when teams play well, and why they play well coming off a bye is because of all these things. And the fact that you get the same team again, there's no excuse for losing this game when they come back.
So, Brad, I will say
somebody
one
is writing
thing.
a lot in the chat.
I'm gonna get to that. It's Army Navy, Brad. But I'm gonna, one of the things I saw with when your defense starts to get aggressive, and hats off to Sean McVay because the Packers are really aggressive. They threw a little screen to Cooper Kupp. He threw the pass. How about a little handoff to Chubb, little flea flicker? Everyone comes up. He throws it back to Baker. Throw it downfield. Little something to use their aggression against them.
They had it dialed up, man. They had that screen perfectly dialed up, and Baker just, I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they could use the Ravens' aggressiveness against them. So yeah,
agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
My cousin served in the Army. He's an Army fan, and he's talking. This is I don't know who this guy is, but he's basically saying, playing Army Navy. Listen, I don't watch Army and Navy during the year, but I do watch it every time it's on. I always watch that game, and college football does it right. It does it the week after all the big games are over, so people can watch it. It's always competitive, and when you talk about great rivalries in college football, people want to say, right now, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, but Alabama has dominated Georgia. They might not win this Saturday. I don't think they will. Ohio State has dominated Michigan. Michigan won. I love watching Army Navy. They go through runs where Navy will win a couple, Army will win a couple.
I've been to a game.
And how was it?
At West Point. It was so awesome. Yeah, they do push-ups every time after they score.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I went randomly just because I lived in New York. Went up to what's it called, West Point or whatever. What's it called? I can't even think
West
right
Point.
now.
Yeah, West Point.
Yeah, West Point.
Yeah.
I went and saw a game up there. It was amazing.
And did Army win or did Navy win?
Navy.
David. Yeah, listen, it's always a fun game to watch. Both of those teams, they want to run the ball 40, 50 times. It's just the battle of wills. And what I love afterwards is they hate each other. After the game, it's a lot like hockey. They embrace one another. They respect one another because they know they're all basically fighting for the same cause. So thank you, Dark Age, for that little comment there. Okay, Brad.
Very cool.
You were down 2 against me. A-Marie, you were down 4. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't even think I'm going to watch this game tonight. And it's very rare that I say that about a Monday Night Football game. But I could care less. One thing I do know is Seattle, over the last 4 games, has the fewest yards. Actually, they're averaging 246 yards since week 6.
How is that possible
Well,
with the weapons they have?
Well, because Geno Smith did play a couple games.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm picking Seattle because it's Russell Wilson's birthday.
Okay. All right.
What?
Okay. So Amory's going with Seattle. Brad, who you taking?
I'm taking the Redskins.
I
Okay.
want to take the Redskins, but I'm trying to go against what I would pick. And yeah.
I'm taking you guys are taking the Redskins, so you're going to lose. I'm taking the Washington football team.
It's not even the
Oh,
shut
whatever.
I apologize to anyone out there.
it's
It's
no
not
big
it's not that. It's the football
so
team,
Brad,
the Washington football team.
So Seattle's done, right? They're
No,
not
I'm
making the
picking
playoffs.
Seattle though for
Right,
funsies.
but I'm saying you don't think Seattle's making the playoffs, Brad?
No,
No. Okay.
No.
All right, and then
They are
let's
a
move.
mess. Do you think? But why does everybody think Pete Carroll's gonna leave or something or get fired? I think that's absurd.
Well, here's the
don't
deal.
know.
Okay, we saw this when Pete was at USC. You got a Chip Kelly,
him over,
progressive offensive guy, and they started dominating. I'm looking at Pete Carroll and his offensive scheme, and it's in the same conference with Sean McVay. It's in the same conference with with Shanahan. It's in the same conference with Cliff Kingsbury, and all these young, progressive, offensive-minded coaches are running all these plays, and Pete Carroll's still like handoff on first down, handoff on second down.
I
and on
don't think
third
he
down.
calls. I don't think he
But
calls the
I'm
offense.
saying it's his philosophy. His philosophy has always been hard-nosed defense and run the ball. When you have Russell Wilson, let him throw 50 times. Let Russ cook.
Right. Well, I think they need a new offensive coordinator, but I don't think Pete Carroll should leave. I think Pete Carroll's a great head coach.
Yeah, no, listen, the guy's won in college. He's won in the pros. I just think Pete Carroll right now is being out-coached in that division because all three of those guys are offensive geniuses. I mean, Sean McVay's a great offensive coach. Kyle Shanahan drives me crazy, but he's a good offensive coach. And Cliff Kingsbury, they're 9-2.
I think they can go out and get. I mean, they have such nice weapons on the outside, and
They
if
really
they
do.
could keep Russ, they should really go draft a running back. And I'm not a fan of any of the backs that they're running out there. Really, I guess they have Carson coming back from injury,
Yeah,
right? I'm not a huge fan of him either. But you could keep him and have somebody else to change the pace. They needed kind of a dynamic runner in there. But I would go out and try to find myself somebody in, that you really like for your offensive coordinator, a young up-and-coming guy that you like, and let him take over that offense.
Or find the next Jonathan Taylor running back coming out of college. All right, let's go to Thursday night. I think the Cowboys are going to be without 5 or 6 players. Is it going to matter? Marie, we'll start with you. Cowboys.
What
Saints.
an ugly Thursday night football game in true fashion. I still think the Cowboys will win weird enough because I think it's just, I don't know why. I don't believe in these Saints.
Marie, my friend Bill just texted me. If Marie's being held hostage, blink twice. Why is she in the blackest room ever?
Oh, so Kyle and I are going to finish this room. It's just like there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of stuff. I almost said shit. I said shit. The stuff everywhere that I'm going to put up look, I have my thing and everything.
Oh, look at that.
We're going to decorate. Yeah, we're going to make it into a nice little studio.
Okay, because it's so black. We were like,
I know,
in a
but
cave?
if I didn't have like all my ring light and mics and everything and turned it on, this looks better.
Okay. All right, Brad, who do you like Thursday night?
I'm going to go with Marie's pick, and I think that the Saints are utter garbage and that the Cowboys will win.
Yeah. I think that's all three of us. We're going with the Cowboys. Okay, Marie, how can we follow you? How can we support you? What's going on down the pike in your world?
Follow me, Part-Time Bro, right here. My handle everywhere. Catch me
you
on
get more followers on Twitter. I noticed that the other day.
Yeah. I got a lot on Instagram too. I don't know. No. And catch me on the radio. It's an app now. There's the Sports Animal app, 610 95.9 FM KNNL. It's a free app. And you can listen on the radio. Yep, Monday through Friday.
I will check that out.
I'm going to post it on Twitter, the link to download the app, but you can listen to me Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m.
Put it in our chat.
I will.
This way we can definitely do it. All right, Marie, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Get out of the cave.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, when's your next show? What's going on?
So we got a bye week. I'm going to deep dive into some film, some All-22 stuff, and really take a hard look at what the Browns are doing. We'll have some good guests on. I think my next show will be Thursday.
Okay.
But yeah, before the Thursday night game, I try to do it like at 7 for like an hour before the 8 o'clock game. Sometimes it runs over a little bit. I don't really care if it runs over this week because that game's gonna suck. So
That is true.
but yeah, we'll do that on Thursday, and I'm sure gonna have I did this week, Monty. I did 4 Ravens podcast guest appearances.
Wow, that's
4.
a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, so I got, which was crazy. They were coming left and right at me, but I did them all, and that was fun. You get a feel for kind of what Ravens fans are thinking and stuff when you do those.
It's always good. Anytime I have a guest covering a show, like if I have John Meyer, like the last Thursday and Friday, I'll listen to like Kansas City radio if he's covering the Chiefs. If someone's covering the Bills, I'll listen just to get a feel. Because sometimes you get some tidbits of stats that only like diehard, local radio stations will give you. So it's good to prepare. So that's good. You got a feel, and I'm sure they were all very, very, respectful, right?
Oh, they were great. They were fantastic. They were really happy, and they very complimentary afterwards. So yeah, all very respectful and cool, and all hit me up after the game too to not talk trash, but hey, what a game! This, that, the other thing. This what you said came true, and this and that and the other. So. It was a good week, busy week, but it'll be nice to have a bye week. I'll probably kind of take it easy, do one show this week, and then hit it hard coming back on the other side. But I will do a self-scout show. I like that aspect of NFL football where they turn internally on bye weeks and teams and take a hard look at yourself. It's a really good way to get better, and I think it's a good exercise for shows to do too, to take a hard look at their own team.
It's interesting because I'm trying to figure out. I think I'm going to cover a couple of bowl games here. I'm going to cover probably Alabama, Ohio State. I'm going to be at the game in the press booth, and then I think I'm doing and then I think
That's
I'm doing
fantastic.
I'm doing the Boca Raton Bowl, which is Saturday, December 18th. So I don't know if I'll do. I have not missed a show in 4 years on a Sunday. I may not be able to do it that Sunday. So
you're doing some traveling, huh?
Yeah, I'll be doing some traveling. I did the one bowl, Alabama, Michigan, 2 years ago before COVID in the press box. It's funny because I actually asked Jim Harbaugh. I said, I know you never want to end on a loss, but can you tell us what the seniors meant to you and this program moving forward? And he answered me, and it was like 1:50. He answered me for like 2 minutes. And then next day on ESPN, they kept playing that clip. And I'm like, you bastards, you didn't play my question.
You
they
cut him out.
They played it on ESPN radio all over. They didn't get me. They just got Jim Harbaugh talking about his seniors. So I was so mad.
ESPN bastards.
I'm going to be covering. I'm probably going to be covering 2 or 3 bowl games in the press box, going down to the field. It should be good.
Monte, that's fantastic stuff, man. What a great opportunity.
Well, Brad, listen, I really believe this. I think within a year or two, you and I will be on Super Bowl row in the media, wherever it is. I really believe that. If not together, separately, but I really think you and I are heading in the right direction.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
All right, man. See you next week. Enjoy the time off. It's not often you get to relax a little bit during football season.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Monty. Love the show.
Thank you. That was Brad Ward. I want to thank him. I want to thank A-Marie. I want to thank all of you. Make sure to subscribe and tell your friends about the Full Monty Sports Show. We're growing. We are growing, and I can only do that with your help. And in the immortal words of NSYNC, bye, bye, bye. You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction.